And welcome to another video. Happy Thanksgiving. So today we're going to talk about the devil. So you might know I'm not a religious person, okay? But I know about all that stuff because I grew up in a Lutheran family, not hardcore. Grandma, it was like when I was first born, there was probably a lot more, and then over the years became a lot less. I have like an aunt and uncle that are batshit nuts religious. Yeah, I've told stories about them. So, it's Lutheran, which Lutheran I think is like a offshoot of Catholic from Germany or something like this, right? Okay. So I know about this stuff because I went to the Jesus schools on the Saturdays and Sundays and all this stuff when I was growing up, right? So I'm completely aware, right? So I'm looking at society today, right? And I see something in society today, in a certain faction of churches, that is the devil. Okay? So there's people. Now, I cannot believe in the devil and believe that, there's not all these powers and all this stuff, and still point out how, if you look from that perspective, this is what you should be seeing. Okay? And that is a trait that I've always tried to develop within myself, of seeing the same thing from multiple points of view, okay? Understanding why other people think the way they do, okay? So, I've intentionally, got an itch. I've intentionally, stretched my brain trying to understand all these different points of view, okay? And this is why I am able to see these things that a lot of people aren't able to see and understand, all right? And what I'm talking about is the prosperity gospel, okay? Yeah. And if you don't know what the prosperity gospel is, it's the devil, basically. They're all worshiping money and rich people. And it's like this whole sect that's got high up people, like the DeVos families into this. Trump's getting pulled into this, and a lot of people refer to this as, Christian fascists, okay? And they wrap themselves in the Bible, but it's like I guess the people that are following you are so fucking stupid that they don't even comprehend that your behavior is that of the devil. Plain and simple. I mean, you got Jesus-like people and you got like devil-like people, right? Okay? I mean, this is the religious view. And a lot of the reason I don't believe in the religion and all this stuff is because of this whole notion of absolute good and absolute evil, That just doesn't exist. You just don't find that. There's just no such thing as absolute good or absolute evil. Even the most devastating things, let's take hurricanes or whatever. They wipe a freaking thing, then go back, like 6 months later, and it's all this new growth. Nature is okay. Okay, so that's nature. Like we nuked ourselves with testing in the atmosphere. Okay? There's still radioactive isotopes floating around in the atmosphere from that testing. Okay? So you might think, oh yeah, there you go. That's all bad. So scientists have actually started using these isotopes to measure things in human bodies and around the world that would be impossible had we not nuked ourselves. Okay? And I'm doing that scientific study no justice. Like, that's some brilliant shit that I'm talking about that I can't really communicate because it's been a while since I looked into all that, right? But it's just the point that I'm trying to make, that there is no absolute good or absolute evil. That's just an example that I'm using, okay? So, this prosperity gospel, though, this is really, really, and the only reason I feel the need to talk about it is because it is trying to take power, take control. Okay, now these types of people are the people that just took over in Bolivia, right? These Christian fascists, right? And I was at a protest when Trump first won, and there was this guy running around with, it was two guys actually, at, fat retard looking people that come out of fucking some, rural area and come to downtown Portland to spew their ignorance, right? One of them's got a GoPro filming the other one in his megaphone, right? This fucker was so ignorant, he actually had a t-shirt. On his t-shirt was a picture of Jesus in flames. And this guy was like a Jesus guy. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Do you not know the flames part is the other guy? I mean, seriously. These people have twisted the old Jesus thing into something that's just unrecognizable as somebody that grew up in that kind of thing, Like to them now, Jesus is like some kind of rich warrior fucking warlord or some shit. It's fucking insane. And what it is, it's the devil. Like, so when these people were trying to explain all this shit, they were trying to explain human nature, right? That's what it's all about. So you can either be a good person or a bad person. But, even within that, I feel as though I'm a good person, but I've done things that I even consider bad. And then, like, the government would consider even more things that I don't consider bad, even more bad, okay? And I'm like, nah, that's not bad, in my opinion, right? I mean, being a weed smuggler and an honest businessman as a weed smuggler, just because weed was illegal doesn't mean I was a bad person or anything like that, by far. I mean, I was a super honest, freaking, here's what you get, here's what money, no bullshit, right? And, it was an honest thing. But the government is, oh no, you're a bad person because you did that. Yeah. So that's my example, is how from the government's perspective, you might be a bad person, but really you're not a bad person, okay? And you might be a good person overall. And I think it's basically like you're either a good person or a bad person by the sum of your actions, okay? What have you done in your life good? What have you done in your life bad? I mean, and this is my point again, that there is no absolute good or evil. I mean, there may be somebody out there in the world that has never done a good thing ever, which is horrifying, but I guess it's a distinct possibility. But I mean, and there is, evil is born. It's called sociopath, okay? So I think that this whole prosperity gospel has been taken over by sociopaths, i.e. devils, right? Because that's what all these religions are trying to cope with and trying to understand and trying to, communicate to the future, is like, why are some people evil, do evil things, and why some people do good things, And, I think it's genetics. It's genetics and it's upbringing, okay? If you have very nice, good genetic parents with no sociopaths in their background, and they raise you good, then you're a good person. You do good shit, right? Now, if you're If you're born somewhere with a lot of bad shit going on, though, you still could end up being a good person, but you're just going to have to really freaking overcome all the bullshit to actually become like a really good person. You know, like some places all over the world, there's some places that are just, even in the United States, there's some fucking places in the United States that is so bad that just bad people come out of there because, you know, a few good people come out, but it's just so bad. There's no example of good to become good, you know, where you've just got to be a lying, cheating, stealing, taking person or you're going to be dead, you know, and that's just unfortunate that that's the reality in some portions of the world, in the United States in some places included. All right, so the prosperity gospel is where the devil is right now in that world. Okay, the devil has taken over a part of. Now, I always thought those TV preachers were sketchy AF. Always, even as a kid. Like, that shit, like, you know, I never had cable, so, and I like to stay up late, and what was on late night? You could get infomercials, and you could get 700 Club, and so I tried watching all that shit, and it was just, you know, and I'm a special person. I'm an empath, okay? And I made other videos about this, so I have a connection there that kind of lets me know. It's like a built-in bullshit meter, right? That was installed at birth or whatever, right? So as a young kid, I'm looking at this stuff going, this isn't right, okay? So, and yeah, unfortunately, it's infecting the highest levels of our government at this point, and that's what really is scary. Because when you look at in history, when you get these crazy religious fanatics and then they get power, like they do shit that Jesus never would have done. Like, Jesus got fucking tortured to death by rich fucking assholes. So, like, rich assholes torturing people to death in the name of Jesus is pretty fucking ironic, to say the least. Anyway, I hope this video has been enlightening for you, and hopefully what we can do as a nation is educate people to a level where they realize that all these superstitions that come from these ancient religions were just trying to explain aliens and how to be a good person versus being an asshole. Because if you had no threat back then, I mean, like, let me explain it like this: like a 6'4" person, and you know, smarter than everybody else, right? Like, I do whatever the fuck I want, right? I could just, like, you know, stroll into the village and just, you know, find the best food and the best chick and just take all that shit for myself. And somebody comes at me and tries to, you know, whoop, you know, I'm bigger, better, blah blah blah, you know. But then you bring in the religion, like, oh, hey, sure, you big, fucking, strong, smart person, you can behave like that, but when you die, you're going to burn in hell, right? This is the point of religion, to prevent people from being fucking assholes with a threat of something that, and, you know, today they threaten with prison or whatever, you know, and my whole concept is this: why don't we just license childbirth and just breed quality humans that don't need threats of fire and incarceration to behave themselves? Peace.